welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Maddison and I like to make all things crafty, mostly crochet. This is the House of Langford monthly podcast where I talk about everything I've made in the previous month and yeah, just a general chit chat really of what I've been up to. So you can find me over on Instagram at the House of Langford and at Overall Sews. I'm also on Ravelry at Mad X Stitcher, and that's where I like to record all my projects, so that I can keep a note of what yarn I've used, what hook I've used, how long it's taken me, all the general info that I would need for a crochet or knit project. So yeah, this podcast kind of follows the standard format of finishes, whips, acquisitions and plans. So I mean, that's a very quick intro for me, isn't it? Anyway, I have been to Glasgow for this month. I've been there for a week, and as much as I really wanted to get one project finished, it just didn't happen. But, you know, these things happen. So it is February. It is currently now, I think the 2nd. It is the 2nd of March, and we're going to see what I got up to in February. Now I will say at the very top of this episode, there is one project I do not have with me, and that's because I took it to Glasgow in the attempt to finish it and didn't. I just didn't. There was so much to do on it and I'd run out of one particular yarn, so I had to go and get some more, and yeah, it just didn't get finished. But I'm going to talk about all the things I did finish and the whips. So to start off with then, what were my plans for February? So I like to do a little recap of what tasks I set myself for each month, and my notes are down here, which is where I keep looking down. So I wanted to finish off the Plushy Heart that I was doing back in January. Didn't really have a plan for it, I just wanted to make a giant heart. So that was the first thing I wanted to do. Then I wanted to finish off the Granny Square blanket, which is the one I have left in Glasgow. So I didn't finish that. I wanted to finish off the Hexie cardigan that I've been working on, which I bought the yarn for back in 2020. Second lockdown, I think. Yeah, something like that. Around second lockdown. Because I got like 8 balls of yarn for it. Anyway, I did make a start back in 2021, if I can get my words out. And back in October, a colleague of mine saw this one and was like, I want one. And I said, well, I've already started one in Teal. And she said, okay, I'll have that one. So yeah, I finally finished it. It's taken me ages, but that's done. Yep, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while. And the other one was Bo the Chinese Dragon, which is a TOFT project, and it was a cow. So for Lunar New Year, Kerry at TOFT decided to start it as a cow, because this year is the year of the dragon, and they brought out a new kit, which was the golden version, and I went and bought it, didn't I? Yep. So I did start, but not on the 10th. I started on my way up to Scotland, because I had a 5-hour train journey, so I figured, well, I'll start this. And then I worked on it on the way back as well. But unfortunately, I haven't finished it because I was trying so hard to finish the granny blanket whilst I was there, and then the Hexie cardigan since I've been back. So I've only been back a week. And getting home was a brain ache. It really was. It took absolutely ages. There will be a Glasgow vlog going up to go along with my Glasgow series. So you can see what I got up to. We actually took my son with me this time. He actually came up for the first time. He's now 19. You know, I'm moving to Scotland. He hasn't decided whether he wants to come with me or not. So, yeah. Anyway, let's carry on, shall we? So that was my plans for February. I got 2 of the 4 done, but the other 2 have had at least some progress on them. So, yeah. Anyway, let's move into finishes, shall we? So, very first one is the big Plushy Heart. Now, I was using King Cole Yummy in red because I love the King Cole Yummy for things like amigurumi. Now, this is not as big as the one in the tutorial, the pattern, because It's not the yarn's just not as thick. But yeah, I made a plushy heart, big red plushy heart. So I think I'd actually got to about here maybe, and then I ran out of yarn because I was using leftovers from, oh, what did I make last month? I can't remember what I made in the red. I'm going to quickly check. I made a giant strawberry. So it's the leftovers from the giant strawberry, and I didn't quite finish the heart, so I had to buy another ball of the King Cole Yummy to finish this off. So I finished this off, and then I was like, well, what do I do with the rest of the arm? I don't really know what to do with this either. I might put some eyes on it. I might make some wings. Actually, I can make some wings. I don't know. I really don't know what to do with it. I just wanted to make a giant heart, so I did. And I could make some more. So yeah. One big giant plushy heart. This is a pattern by Curious Papaya. And I use a 5mm hook when I work with this yarn. Because it's squishy and fluffy. It's very fluffy. So yeah. It is a bright red heart. So once I'd finished this one, I was like, well, what do I do next? And I took the ball of yarn with me to Glasgow. And the ball did come back with me though. I don't know why. Yeah. But I did take a ball with me to Glasgow. I'd already finished this. And I had previously made the mini dino last month. So I'll pop a picture up of the mini dino. And on the way up, I decided, well, I can give that to my husband. So I took it with me to Glasgow, and on the train up, I made a mini heart to go with it. Now, obviously I don't have that. I gave it to my husband whilst I was up there. So the pattern for the mini heart is by Wonder Crochet, or Wonder Crochet, which is on YouTube. I will pop the link up above for the tutorial for that. And again, same yarn, same hook size. And yeah, I just thought it was really cute to go with the dino. So, and my husband found it really cute too, which is even better. But yeah, so I've made 2 hearts, 2 different sizes in the same yarn. Well, I mean, it was February, it's Valentine's Day, and I didn't see my husband on Valentine's Day, so that was my Valentine's gift to him. Yeah, I made 2 plushy hearts. That's pretty much it. This episode's going to be quite short. Yeah, those are the 2 things that I actually finished in February, which does not seem like a lot of work, but I was working so hard on the granny squares for the blankets so I could work on that in Glasgow and finish it off, that I just didn't have time for anything else. It's such a big project. But I am going to show you another finish because I finished it today. It needs all the ends sewn in. I need to wash it and block it, but I'm going to show you because I won't have it after this weekend, so you won't get to see it again. And it is another one of these. That's my Hexie cardigan. So I'm going to take this one off, put on the other one, and I'll show you what it's like. Now, this cardigan is not for me, so it is a bit bigger. I have, see, there's so many ends I need to weave in on it. It is a bit bigger. I have done my sleeves exactly the same how I did my one. I think I just have one more round on the cuff itself. Yeah, so I've done the sleeves exactly the same as my version. However, I've added 8 rows in the back, and I didn't lengthen it either. When I lengthened it as I did it. So I'm going to see if I can move my camera back and show you properly. Okay, my one has a double collar, but I haven't done that on this one. I've just done 5 rounds of front post trebles, but I've done it all the way around. So we can see it goes all the way across the bottom as well. So I've had to put in a few increases in the corners, but it goes all the way around. And you can see I haven't lengthened it because there's no stitches going left to right, but it is finished. I'm going to tilt my camera down just so slightly. It's nice and roomy. It's not for me, so it's a little bit bigger than my one. Only by a few rounds actually, and increases in the back. I am concerned that the collar keeps rolling up, but I want to block it and see if that helps. But yeah, big puffy sleeves. I'm just happy to get it finished because I've been doing this for a while now and it needed doing. But yeah, I mean, other than the fact I've got loads of ends to weave in, but yeah, I'm very happy that I have finished this and I can finally gift it next week. I hope I've got the camera back in the right place. Anyway, so I have used Stylecraft Special DK for this in teal. Like I said, I bought it in 2020. So around December time, maybe even earlier than that. I finished my one in August of 2020 to the version it is now. And yeah, I really like it. So I slip stitch join my shoulder seams and then I extend my sleeves with some more granny. I do some decreases in the sleeve and then do the cuff, which is just front post trebles. What I wanted to do was write this up, which is why I started the second one, but I haven't got around to it. I want to kind of do like, it's more of a recipe than a pattern as such. But yeah, so the sleeves are the same and I have done a nice collar and it just goes all the way around. I quite like it. But yeah, I am hoping that it will lie flatter. I don't really want to have to do a back to the border to keep it in place. I might see if I can just do some double crochets to attach these together and hopefully that will, or slip stitches maybe, to keep that in place because they're all quite close together anyway. But anyway, yeah, so it's finished. It's only taken me 3 years and a bit to do, but yeah, the Granny Hexie is done and I don't have plans at the moment to make any more, but someone did ask me a little while back last year if I would make a longer version, but considering how long this took me, I don't think I want to. So yeah, it's been all about the grannies, all about the granny squares this month. It really has. I'm going to keep this on whilst I talk about my whips. So the first whip is the big granny square blanket. Now I will put up photos of some of the squares that I made for it. I was using Caron X Pantone, which is a discontinued yarn, and I had 9 bundles of colours of this yarn. I made them all up into 4 squares. I basically pulled them off one at a time, made a square, or made 2 squares from that colourway, and then reversed the colours to do 2 more squares. So I had like a checkerboard going on, but I only had 9, and it wasn't big enough to make an adult size blanket for my husband. I mean, I could have quite easily have just stitched them all together and went, there you go, it's a baby size blanket or a lap blanket, but I wanted it to be for him. So I started playing around with some more ideas, decided that a 3 by 5, yeah, 3 by 5 big squares would be big enough for an adult size. So I joined all the 4s together so that I had 8 squares, and my husband chose 1 set of squares that he didn't like the colours of, so I took those out because I didn't need 9, I needed 8. But I then needed something to fill in the gaps because it became a checkerboard, and I had one bundle that was all black, but I had part of a bundle that was coconut cream. So I made just a plain granny square, 1 round white, 1 round black, 1 round white, 1 round black, to put in the very middle. And I used all of the yarn that I had. I had all these little balls, which were being stored in my gingerbread house I made in December. Yeah, I used as much yarn as I could to make single round grannies, which I then wanted to join together to make these other squares to go in between them. And I still don't have enough of those little grannies to make 4 panels. I only have enough for 3 and maybe almost a 4th. So I need to make a few more up in black and maybe a couple in the cream, just to add in every now and then. And what I decided to do, I got a few tips from some friends of mine and decided to do join as you go. However, it became very obvious very quickly that I did not have enough yarn to do that. So whilst I was in Scotland and playing around with all of these squares, I went and bought some Aran with wool, which is Stylecraft Special, in 400 gram balls. And I'd worked out that I would need at least 100 grams per square of join as you go to actually finish this off. But I had only enough of those to make 4 squares. So I still had 2 big squares that I needed to make. So I bought a bit extra. I bought 2 balls of the Aran with wool. So I have 800 grams in Glasgow waiting for me to finish this blanket. And I did join as you go 1 set of them. I haven't got a picture of it though, because it took me an hour and 40 minutes. I thought I would time it whilst I was trying to paint my wall, which you'll see in the Glasgow vlog. But yeah, it took so long to join as you go for 1 set of 25 squares that I just didn't do any more of it because I was so focused on getting my wall painted, because carpets are going in either next week or the week after. So yeah, I needed to paint the wall before I left. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so it's not finished, but the next time I go up is the kind of the middle of April-ish. I might be able to stitch some of them together then. I don't expect to get it finished because I'm only there for a few days. I'm literally moving some of my stuff up in the middle of April because it's our half term. But I know I'm going to have to do that again later on in the year. So yeah, that's quite a lot of info on blanket that I don't have. And it's a whip and it's in Glasgow. But there we go. Yeah, I didn't realise the yarn was Aran. So I had actually taken up with me 8 balls of chunky to try and like piece it all together, and then realised that it wasn't chunky yarn. It was Aran yarn. So I could have taken yarn with me. I just took the wrong yarn. But yeah, so I had to get some yarn. And I may as well tell you now where I got that from. I got that from the Wee Crafty Owl, which is in Greenock in Glasgow. I spent most of the afternoon in Greenock at Knit and Natter, and then went back to the house, and then went back out again to a different Knit and Natter in near Hindland. I don't know where that is. That's West Glasgow. But yeah, so I've already talked about my acquisitions as well, because that is it. That's all I bought. 2 balls of yarn and a bag of stuffing because I was working on amigurumi, and the ball of yummy. That's it. That's all I bought in February. Anyway, haven't actually finished my whips though. I also made a start on Bow, which is the Chinese dragon from TOFT, and I have the golden version. Also, I forgot to mention that this cardigan has been living in this bag, which I made years ago. It's a nice big blanket size bag. Yeah, so my golden dragon has been living in here. I took it up and made the... Let me show you a picture first. This is Bow the Dragon. So I have the gold version, so it's sparkly. And it is a TOFT kit. And let me see if I can find it. So I made the head on the way up, which is this piece. I made the head. I also made the horns. So I've got loads of little pieces in here. There we go. The horns are the white pieces. I made the mouth, which is red. There is also a nose piece somewhere, eyelids and eyes. No eyes. So I made all of those on the way up, and then on the way back, I had already started this in Greenock when I went to get yarn. I started the dragon body, It goes that way up. So I think I got to like here before I left Greenock, and then in the evening I think I got to about here, and then the rest I did on the train home, which was a 6-hour train home. So the body is done and stuffed, and I love the construction of this because it's done in short rows. So if you're a knitter, it's easier to understand what I mean by short rows. But you, instead of doing all the way around all the time, you stop, turn, crochet back on yourself, stop, turn, crochet back on yourself all the way around, and go again. And that creates the shape. Like, there's no wiring in this, it just, that's the shape it forms. So it's very clever, and I use the invisible row technique, so it all looks the same. I can tell where the invisible rows are, but you don't get like the ridges you would normally get in back and forth crochet. So I'm very pleased with that. That is the body. Now I didn't take, oh, I also made a claw, 1 foot on the way up as well. I've got all these ends to sort out because I joined my yarn slightly differently. And the red is long because I need to add beads to the tips of the claws. So I took the beads with me but forgot to take the monofilament. So I have since added the monofilament from the TOFT Advent this last year. I've put that in here so that I can work on that, and I still have my 2 tubes of red beads. I still have 2 balls of gold yarn, a ball of red that I don't know if I've touched yet. I know I have. The label's off. I only have the 1 ball of red, and I still have just over half a ball of the white as well, the cream. So I need to do his belly, the underbelly, but I need to thread the beads on first, which is why I started doing all the bits that didn't need beads. Basically, I've got a couple of little oddments of gold, so that might do me a claw, a little foot, and I'm using the 3mm TOFT hook for this. I did have a foot that I'd started as well, but I don't know what's happened to that. It's in here somewhere, unless I didn't start it. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, that's my Bow the Chinese Dragon. It was for Lunar New Year, so there was a cowl on from the 10th to the 24th of February. And to get most of that done in just 3 days, I think is quite an achievement for me, really, considering what else I was doing that week. But, you know, that's how it goes. Like, some days I'll do loads, some days I'll just do a few bits. But there's lots of pieces here for this dragon, and I'm pleased with how much I've managed to do. So, yeah, I will finish that off this month. And that is in one of my TOFT bags. So it's all nice and tidy. This is why I bought more stuff in, because I thought if I got any more done I would need stuff in. I've only got a little bit left in now. So yes, that's pretty much it. And for the first time I have a new section for this podcast, and that is frogging. I have gone through my list of whips, and I know there are 2 on my list that I am going to frog. There is one, I don't know if I started it, I must have started it last month. I was trying to crochet up using 3 strands of yarn to make a blanket, and I just don't like it. But I think I've already packed it, so I can't frog it. But I found another one that I would like to make at some point, but I'm not in the knitting mojo at the moment, so I'm going to frog it. I might try and reskein the yarn because it's currently in cake form, and I don't want it to, you know, it's been in cake form for quite some time. But it has been living in my Animal Crossing inspired bells bag, which I made. There is a tutorial for this on the channel, which I will link. Ding! Yeah, I have been using, it is Truly Hooked yarn. Now I have 2 skeins of this, but this shawl pattern only requires 1. So maybe I'll use this in a pattern that requires 2. It is called Roxanne. It's by Truly Hooked. It is her standard stock, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, 425 meters per 100 grams. So it's a really nice red color. There are some splotches, which is what made me think of the strawberry for it. And here it is caked up. Now you can see I've already frogged this project before because I kept getting it wrong. So this is as far as I got when I redid it. And as much as I love the look of it when it's finished, it takes me some time to actually wrap my head around it, and I don't have the brain space at the moment, and I would rather use this yarn for something else, I think. Yeah. This project, this pattern came with is it a cozy box from Gemma of the Midnight Diary. And what I might actually do is use the yarn that came in the box to do this pattern, because I have 2 of these and it would be a shame to split them up because they're both from the same dye lot. So they will actually work together. And I do quite like the fact that I've had these little pandas holding my needles. They've got little socks in their hands. Look, he's holding a little sock, which I think is really cute. So yeah, I'm gonna frog it again. I think I've now frogged this 3 times because I dropped a stitch. I got really far into it and dropped a stitch somewhere, and I could not for the life of me fix it. I tried and I couldn't do it. So I tried ripping back and then I couldn't pick up again, and I just got really fed up with it. So I frogged and started again, which is why there's so much yarn wrapped around the cake. But yeah, I am frogging because I need the brain space to do something else. And it makes me sad that it sits there unfinished, unworked on. And I can always do it another time. Just at the moment, it's a shame for it to sit there. I mean, look, it's all curly now. So, yeah, I'm going to quickly frog that. And it's sad that I am having to frog a project, but I know that I can use this yarn for something else in the future, and I would rather start afresh with this pattern. I know I'm not very far into it, and that's fine, but because I'm not so much of a confident knitter, especially this is the first one I think that I was trying to do lace work with, yeah, I need to start from scratch with it and actually just sit and just work on this project. So if I have a knitting project, I need to just be working on that knitting project. I can't do other things at the same time, because as soon as I put it down, I lose where I am. And as soon as I put it down, I move on to something else and I don't go back to it because it's knitting. I did keep picking up the Christmas sock recently, so sometimes I'm in the mood for just some basic stockinette stitching, which is great because it just goes round and round and round, and I don't have to think about it. I can do that without. There's not a lot of pattern involved as such. So, and this has a tab start as well, which I've had to pick up stitches into, and I've now got it all tangled up. So here we go. Done. There's the end. Yeah, it's sad, but like I said, for me, a knitting project I need to do from start to finish, otherwise I get lost. So I am going to pop those back in that bag, and I'm going to get it packed, ready to move to Scotland. The pattern is still in here, so if I do want to work on it, then I can. Oh, there's also a pen in here from where I've been marking off the pattern. So let's take that out. I've got some crafter's balm in there. I've got stitch markers, tape measure. No, that's not a tape measure. That's a row counter. See, all these different things you find when you actually empty out project bags. What is that? More stitch markers. Yep. So I was clearly in the mood for knitting when I started this, but not recently. So the yarn's going back in there. I'm going to put the needles back in there as well, just because even though I might not be knitting at the moment. The packaging is in here for them. So actually, I'm just going to put them back in the packet so I know that they're safe and that's where they belong. There we go. It's not neat or tidy, but they're in the packet and they're going in the bag. So I can pack this now because I've got a big bag. I need a big box that I need to pack up. So that's ready to go. And that is it for February. Yeah, not an awful lot going on here because I've had my trip to Glasgow and I've been trying to work on 2 big projects and to get them done because both have been whips for a while now, so I just wanted them done and off my list. So yeah, I can now take this one off my list and I can continue to work on the granny squares when I go back up to Glasgow. So my plans then for March are to finish Bo, the golden Chinese dragon, because he's so close to finishing now. I just need to do 3 more feet, the underbelly, and then all the little bits that join on top, so his spines and stuff like that. I've also been asked to make a cow neck poncho, so I actually have 2 ponchos, which you'll see in the scarves, I think it's all the shawls video, which I will link. Yeah, someone at work has asked me to make the cow neck poncho because I keep wearing mine to work. And lastly, because I've now finished this project, I want to go back to another whip. Originally I wanted to go back to the postcards with love blanket because it's so close to being finished, and actually now talking about it, I kind of should do that one. But Linda, if you're watching this, hi Linda, remember to go to bed. Sometimes she falls asleep on the sofa listening to me, so if you're still awake, go to bed. Linda has been working on her version of On the Seashore blanket by Rosina Plain, and she is very much ahead of me. I have only finished the first part of that blanket and I started part 2 I think when I went to Glasgow last time, so that was October, and she's now just finished. She finished part 2 and she's literally spent the last week that I've been in Glasgow doing the seahorses section that we've added into it. And she's just finished that today. So she's well and truly ahead of me. So if that makes me want to work on my one, but actually I know that I should be doing the postcards blanket because that's closer to completion. And I can get that ticked off my list then, because that's an old whip as opposed to a new whip. Anyway. Yeah. Decisions. It's one of those 2 that I'll be working on for the next month because I want to get something else done. Yep. But yeah. So in terms of what's coming up in March, I am going to East Anglia Yarn Festival next weekend. So if you're there and you see me, say hi. I will probably be wearing my rainbow cardigan because I wore that last time and it got me so many compliments, so I'll probably be wearing that again. And maybe my Yarnivore t-shirt, which my husband got me for, I can't remember if it was for my birthday or for Christmas. It was one of the 2. Might be my birthday, which means he does listen. He doesn't watch my podcast though, because he gets it all the time. But yeah, that's me for February. So what else is there? I think that's it for March. I might be going to the Stitch Festival. I don't know yet. I've been trying to book it as a trip for school, for students. But yeah, it's a bit slow going, so I don't know if it's happening. We'll find out. If it doesn't, I might still go, but I don't actually have any money because I've got a van to pay for to move my stuff. So, anyway, what's your favourite make of mine this month? There's not much. There really isn't. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little ramble today. It's a lot shorter than my previous ones because there's not much to show you, but hopefully you've got something out of it and enjoyed my ramblings. And yeah, if you're new here, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and you'll get notified when I pop up new videos as well, because I've just received the next Crochet Society box, so that will go up in a few weeks as well. I have recorded it, it will be edited, and I like to put it up later in the month because some people, it takes them a while to get their boxes, especially if they're international. So I don't like to spoil it for anyone. I like to try and put it up as late as possible in the month. So that'll probably go up around the 21st-ish, something like that. Because they tend to do like a live unboxing and stuff like that with from Crochet Society directly. And I don't like to step on anyone's toes or spoil a surprise for those that haven't received their boxes. So that will go up later in the month. Yeah, I think that's everything that I need to tell you about. And breathe. I don't think there's anything else that has really happened other than me going to Glasgow and yeah. So you might see some more from me for next month. There might be more finishes, but now most of my yarn is packed up and yeah, there's a lot of it. So I have the poncho I need to be working on, so I'll probably start that tomorrow because I want to try and get bow finished today, and I've got some packing to do today because I tend to find myself more productive on a Saturday than a Sunday. I tend to veg on a Sunday, so yeah, I might see if I can go and see a friend so that I'm being productive still and work on my crochet rather than just sitting here on my phone, because unfortunately my Sundays are doom scroll days. Yeah, and as I've been spending a lot of the afternoons and evenings asleep on my sofa, kind of need to be productive. So I'm going to aim to pack a giant box today. I might end up packing 2 giant boxes. We will see. I want to try and get my Crochet Society boxes packed because clearly I'm not currently working on them, and if I can get them packed, that's more space for me to sort out other stuff. So without further ado, thanks for watching me, and I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye. Also, did you catch the new intro? Do you like it? Let me know in the comments.